Crash and burn.
Hey everybody. So, wait, where the fuck is the lens? There it is. Hey everybody. So tonight I am looking to discuss the 1985 werewolf movie, Silver Bullet, starring the very crazy Gary Busey and Corey Haim. Simply, the story here is it's based off the Stephen King book called Cycle of the Werewolf, where it is pretty simple. Every time there's a full moon, a werewolf comes out and it beheads people. That is the long and short of this. This movie is amazing because Corey Haim was a hell of an actor, and Gary Busey's always fun to watch. And Jesus Christ, I can't remember the name of the actor who plays Reverend Lowe, but Jesus, does he embrace his role as the werewolf? And the acting, Terry O'Quinn's in this. That's right, fucking right. The stepfather plays the sheriff in this, the stepfather, as well as being Frank Black's partner in Millennium, as well as the guy that let the bomb go off in that federal building at the start of the first X-Files movie, Fight the Future. But yeah, Terry O'Quinn's in this as well, and it's a fun movie. This movie is like an honest-to-God like blast. But the effects aren't the best. Like, the werewolf doesn't look terrible, but given that this was released, I think, within a year or two of An American Werewolf in London coming out, and that sort of set the standard for how a werewolf sort of transformation is supposed to take place, the werewolf does not look awful, but the werewolf doesn't look great either. I think my favorite thing about this movie, though, was just how willing a participant in his lycanthropy that Reverend Lowe is. Like, he was so into the idea of being a werewolf. And that is something that werewolf movies usually stray from. Usually the person who changes into the werewolf is as much a victim as the werewolf's victims. They don't want to change. They hate this about themselves. They don't know what to do. And there's usually some aspect of the plot devoted to them attempting to deal with their lycanthropy, like them attempting to find a way to kind of turn it off, like Seth Green did in Buffy. He figured out a way to turn off his werewolfdom. So usually that's what you find these characters who are suffering from it do, or there's at least some sense of remorse. But no, oh no. Reverend Lowe just loves butchering people. I mean, it gets to the point where Marty, of course, figures out it's him. He hits him in the eye, hits the werewolf in the eye with a firework that he got from his Uncle Red, played by Gary Busey. And then his sister Jane goes around the next day and she finds out that, of course, Reverend Lowe is the only person in town missing an eye, so they know it's him. So they start sending him letters saying, we know what you are, we know what you do, you should kill yourself. And, I mean, Reverend Lowe ends up trapping, Jesus, what the hell's Corey Haim's character's name? Marty. He ends up trapping Marty in this old piece of shit bridge. And he's like, you can't just kill yourself. It's a sin, you know? And you can tell that Reverend Lowe is really, like I said, he loves the idea of being this sort of maniacal werewolf out on the prowl, eating people and all this shit, which is really unique. So I thought that was cool too. Oh my God, the wheelchair, the Silver Bullet. First off, his Uncle Red, played by Gary Busey, he's good with his hands. So he's already made Marty this sort of badass, motorized, regular-looking wheelchair. But then he unveils the Silver Bullet. And it is like, when I was a kid and I saw this movie, I remember thinking, like, briefly, I was like, Jesus, like, I wish I was in a wheelchair. It's like, wow, Adam, you couldn't be more fucking brain dead. You know, but it's true. That is how I felt. I remember for a period there thinking, wow, if you had a wheelchair like that, being in a wheelchair can't be that bad. And of course, it wasn't until a few years rolled on, I'd seen the movie again and I got a little older. And it's at the scene where you see Marty watching all of his friends play baseball, but he's not really watching them play baseball. He's watching their legs. And it was at that point when I saw the movie again that I realized just how brain dead I was when the younger me was like, yeah, fucking right, motorized wheelchair makes being paralyzed worth it. No. And another thing about that scene where Marty is watching all of his friends play baseball, I thought that was a really, it showed character development. You know, it showed like some depth to the character of Marty. Traditionally, these sort of mid-1980s horror movies are a little shallow in that department. So I also thought that was a really nice touch too. What else did I want to say? No, I think that was everything actually. Yeah, that was it. Other than, of course, The fucking brain dead ending. Naturally, Red sort of believes Marty and Jane, so he gets this dude he knows to make a silver bullet. And of course, Lowe attacks the house, and everything concludes with them blowing Lowe away. There's one last jump scare when they think he's gone, and he fucking reaches out for them again. But then he dies, and Marty says to Jane, "I love you," and it's something that this brother and sister can't really do because they're always quarreling. And then adult Jane, who has been narrating the whole movie, sort of, she kicks in. She's like, "I wasn't always able to say that back then, but I can say it now. I love you too, Marty." And had the movie not kicked so much ass, that end would have done some damage to it. Like, for sure. "I love you too, Marty." Oh, motherfucker. That is just fucking cringe-inducing. But other than that stupid end, this movie's amazing. This movie is wild. It's exactly what you're looking for, assuming you like mid-80s werewolf movies, or horror movies in general. The scene in the fog was fucking rad too. But that's where I'm leaving it. So thank you so much for hanging out with me for, Jesus Christ, a little over 6.5 minutes while I discuss the 1985 film Silver Bullet. Like always, if you like this review, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. But most importantly, please don't forget that the world is actually a better place because you are in it. I'm getting out of here, and I really hope I'm looking into the lens because I can't really see anything. Have a good night.